in a clear vineyard this morning looking at some Merlot vines. These are 18-year-old Merlot vines that were grafted onto Shiraz. This vineyard's been surveyed recently and found that it has quite a high incidence and severity of Eutypa. There's been a commercial decision here made because of the losses of fruit and loss of income that they'll rework this vineyard. So today we're going to go through with a pair of hydraulic secateurs that can cut very large trunks, up to 6 inches in diameter, and we will cut the trunk through down to the dripper wire, and we should be able to see some canker here that we can show you. So here we are, we've cut off this piece of wood where the canker was very evident. Underneath, the canker has disappeared, but it's highly likely that it's just inside here. So to be safe, you should always go a beer can about that length below where you have last seen the Eutypa to ensure that there's no more disease in the vine. In this situation, we can go down 2 or 3 beer cans to get them to all the same height, which will be dripper wire height. Once we've cut off the vine, it's very important to prevent further infection and to seal the wound as it's so large. So we apply green seal immediately. This should really be applied within 24 or 48 hours, but especially before a rain event, because I believe as little as 2 millimetres of rain is enough to create a further infection and splash spores onto the wound. So green seal paint can be purchased from your local viticultural chemical reseller, or normal acrylic paint will do, but I think this is a better option as it has a fungicide component as well as the sealing component that normal acrylic paint does have. You cut the cordon wire, remove the trunk down to past the disease, and then it needs to be immediately removed out of the vineyard and piled and burnt as soon as possible to prevent the spread of further infection.
When we made the decision to rework our vineyards, we come through and we cut the vines off and we remove the affected parts. Now, hygiene and sanitation are very important at this stage. We don't want to leave infected wood behind. It only takes a couple of millimetres of rain and the spores are released for over 30 hours, and that gets the whole infection process going again. So it's very important to make sure that you take everything out of the vineyard. So when you cut them off, you may have bits left over on the ground, and as you can see on our vineyard here, we've left it very clean. There's no point of infection here at all. They're normally taken back to the heap and burnt. When we're removing the vines, we don't actually cut them individually, we actually leave them connected together. We can get up to 10 or 12 vines together on the cordon wire. And it's quite easy then to hook onto those and drag them out the end of the row and take them down to the heap. When we get them down to the heap, we then push them up with a loader onto the heap. And it's much more cost effective to do it that way because we're not handling each vine individually. So if your headlands are big enough, if your tractor's strong enough, and your heap's at a good distance, you can save quite a few dollars by doing that way. Just a little tip that might help you down the track.